Greetings everyone and welcome back to End-Kadic Reviews. This review has been waited on a while. You knew this review was coming, and if you've watched the previous three, you know how I feel. I'm not a fan of this series. In fact, I hate it. I believe it is one of the most overhyped, overrated, and over-advertised series in the game. It's had a lot of potential, but has never truly lived up to it. And no, I'm not talking about Destiny. I'm talking about the other one. The Uncharted series. I've done the other three previous Uncharteds via the Uncharted collection. Needless to say, the games have not aged well. And plus, I can't judge them based on their time because I did not have a PlayStation 3 at the time that they originally came out. But what they were littered with, short story, is potholes, cliches, and one profounding question. Who is Nathan Drake? So the time has finally come to talk about Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. No matter what Sony does beyond this point, I will make this statement now, loud and clear. This is the end for me in the Uncharted series. This is it. I will never review another Uncharted again. Not only because I'm not a fan of the series and I don't honestly care, but because to me, this game is how the game, the series, should end. There should be no more. There is no reason. A reason for a 5 now would clearly be a money grab and an insult to the excellent work played here. Sure, it's not perfect, but it nearly is. It's the best in the series, and it has finally done the one thing that 3 entire games could not do. Answers. Give me answers. Satisfy me. Make me care. I don't care if it's the 4th game. I don't care if it's the 1st. Your job, first and foremost, is to make me care. Make you matter. If you are telling a people story, make you matter. Last of Us couldn't do it. The Order didn't have enough gameplay to cement its information. Most games in the modern era don't. But Uncharted 4, miracle upon miracles, accomplishes this to near perfection due to its new writing direction. Somber, reflective, mirror-esque. As Uncharted finally does what it should, in my opinion. Turn its focus away from the adventure of it all and put its focus on its people. Mainly, its protagonist. Who, until this point, we've had no solid answers. We have no solid truths. We have to believe the lies. But the lies are now over. And they're deep. But why? Years after the events of Uncharted 3, Nathan has finally, at long last, looking like settling down with Elena, or as I like to call her, plot armor. And trust me, her plot armor is completely on again in this game too. But an old ghost of Nathan's past, his older brother Sam, returns into the picture. 15 years thought dead. Thought to have had a debt on his head. And Nathan is once again in search of treasure. This one, the famous treasure by Henry Avery. And the fabled pirate utopia within. But you find out throughout the story that, of course, they're not the only ones chasing it. An old associate of Victor's, Nadina Ross, and an old associate of Sam and Nathan's, Wraith, are chasing it with the mercenary group Shoreline, looking to make big paydays. But the bigger part of the story is not all this. This is just window dressing. Window dressing to the very personal, introspective, reflective story to come. As Nathan battles with who he is and who he wants to be, relationships and friendships come to a head. His seemingly looking perfect family life in jeopardy of being in shambles. Finally, consequences for all the bad choices, lies made, seem to be put on the table. And Sam's character, brilliantly introduced the fool in the first few chapters of the game, is an adventurer for life. It's not an addiction, it's what he knows. It's in his blood, which is ironically the entire point of the story. That what might seem like an addiction, which for Nathan in the early part of the game it is, was, well, play the game to find out. Some real big revelations come to play in this game, especially in the early and close to late chapters, about who Nathan and Sam really are and why they're always so interested in going treasure hunting. The banter together between them, voiced by, of course, Troy Baker and Nolan North. I call them the Lil Wayne and DJ Khaled of video game voice acting. They're in everything. Play the brothers nearly perfectly, with perfect comic banter and perfect brotherly disdain and retort. And even their younger selves are voiced beautifully by their stand-ins as well. You really get the sense of an older-younger brother relationship and the growing sense of respect. Every other one of the major returning characters, from Elena to Victor, is of course played well here. Here as well. And the villains, although Uncharted cliched, are played beautifully, and the twist, if not predictable, comes at the right times. The story is perfectly reflective, not only of the series as a whole, but Uncharted as a series and Naughty Dog as a company. It all has a sense of ending, finality, that the truth must come out because there's no other space for it to go. And in this way, Uncharted 4 accomplishes its mission. And finally, accomplishes, for me, the impossible. Satisfaction. Yes, I said it. An Uncharted game satisfied me. An Uncharted game gave me what I was asking for. And did it in spades. Such is the testament to good writing and good theming. Everything has what the other three games didn't. Weight. Everything matters. Every moment you care about. Every twist, every betrayal, every reason you care. The emotion finally sets home. It's not forced, it's earned. Even its ending, which some may not be a fan of, is earned. It just feels good this way. In terms of the gameplay, not much has changed except for a few things. There are a ton of added assists for new players, from shoulder snapping to faster and more reflective auto-aiming. If you want a challenge, turn the assist off, because with the assist on, the combat sections become cakewalks. But it isn't to say that they aren't exciting and don't have their moments of difficulty. Combat sections are big open-ended areas with verticality and cover aplenty, and with the use of the new grappling hook in combat, you can swing from area to area, dropping upon enemies as you see them, or shooting them by the rope. As far as the traditional platforming goes, that's where the new grappling hook actually shines. Gone are the days of vines you can barely see in the background. Now you're your own vine. And this works well with the swinging and rappel controls. But also, Nathan's basic platforming feels weightier and more realistic than before. But getting to those handhelds holds are now easier due to the fact that Nathan can now reach out at arm's length, and if he's in a way, you can easily get to a handhold. Going up and down has also been made a lot easier. Although the stealth mechanics added to the combat because of the larger areas and the smarter AI doesn't feel nearly as intuitive or deserved. It feels like a part of the game added on for depth that is not really necessary. The AI is too smart and intuitive for you to run through and stealth kill people, let alone try to get away without killing a single soul. It's one of the tougher trophies to get. That's why it's so difficult. It just doesn't feel right in a game whose pacing and action scenes are high energy, high stakes, with some of the greatest chase scenes in video game history. Bigger, badder, bolder explosions, great visual effects, and breathtaking views make this game, next to Ratchet and Clank, the number 2 game graphically on the PlayStation 4. It's just a testament to Naughty Dog's graphical prowess that a game of this expert quality exists. Uncharted may have set the bar in 2007 for the PS3, but much like its first game graphically did for its predecessor, Uncharted, in terms of realistic games, has set the bar here. There aren't many new weapons, but the weapons feel weighty and effective. Cover quickly degrades, grenades are unable to be thrown back, and much harder to set and spot. In the treasures, which are 109 for more well hidden due to the more open-ended spaces. Checkpoints are generous, and unfortunately, the puzzles come out being a little easy, but their themes and ideas are creative and fit the theme that it's going for Avery's treasure and the place they're in. It all blends together for a single player that, if you're an Uncharted fan, is no doubt satisfying, worth the wait, in and out of gold, and is the perfect appreciation of your long-term fandom with constant references back to the old games. Plus, the decision system that was highly vaunted in the original demo comes out being flat and unimportant. It doesn't affect the ending, it just changes selective points of dialogue. It's a useless throwaway gag that should have not been included in the game, given the game's linear history and form. It just doesn't work here. The multiplayer is also somewhat of a throwaway gag, although it performs admirably with 3 modes. Team Deathmatch, your standard Team Death. Plunder, your Capture the Flag variant that often plays the best out of the 3 modes. And Command, your domination type mode. Killing is fast and fluid, and death can come from anywhere in any place. Taking cue from the single player, these are large, open-ended, vertical areas with high jumps and grappling hooks. Utilizing the stage and utilizing your advantage is best to success here. For getting kills, assists, and revives, you gain in-storm money that can be used to summon mystics, special power-ups that can affect the course of the game, or sidekicks, actual corruptible sidekicks that will do the damage for you, adding another body on the field. This makes quick thinking, map design, map knowledge and quick reaction time, and good and reliable teamwork a thing you must have to succeed in the multiplayer spectrum. Albeit outside of your traditional custom loadouts, everything must be bought by Variety Chest for costume unlocks, characters, and more. This can be done with relics earned through completing challenges and single player against AI trials, or through, yes, actual money. Which seems like the better option. To do it without money would take a lot of time to kill. And seeing that there's only 3 modes, there may not be enough staying power in the multiplayer modes to keep the multiplayer hanging on, although it performs admirably with matches starting quickly and lack of lags and disconnects. So the multiplayer is an unnecessary addition, but at least with its technical prowess and the fact that it works, with the only problem being way too traditional modern multiplayer sets, it can be a welcome thing for some post the actual game, but the strength of the now reflective, more personal story, the darker, somber tones of remembrance, forgiveness, addiction, and overcoming that addiction to find the brighter light at the end of the tunnel. And all the thrills and spills, builds of weight given in those moments make Uncharted 4 the greatest pirate story ever told, and Naughty Dog's greatest company achievement. It's not transcendent enough to get the 10 score, and it doesn't do enough to save my opinion of the earlier games. In fact, Uncharted 4 is such a standout individually that it actually makes the rest of the Uncharted series flaws more present in upon reflection. But at least for me in my final Uncharted review, the game went out as it should, perfectly. Not optimistically, not with eyes to the future, perfectly. This is how Uncharted should end. As a story of a man who was looking for something greater and found a family may be the greatest treasure. This game, in a series full of mediocre mistakes, plot holes, and disappointment, finally in its final moment, finally achieves the greatness from small beginnings. I may not be an Uncharted fan, and I will never be, but at least for this one moment, I can tip my goggles and give at least its last run its best due. Thieves' End is a buy, definitely, and worthy of a 9 out of 10, joining Ratchet and Clank side by side as the 1 and 2 for PlayStation 4. If you are an Uncharted fan that is searching for answers, the answers you shall have. As an action game, the gunfights and chases have never been more thrilling, never been more thematically perfect with its more reflective and weighty story. Comedy is still on point, but not the point. And the adventure story about the treasure of Henry Avery is one of twist, turns, and betrayal. But told through the prism of the Drakes, it's even that much more involving and that much more enjoyable. If you haven't already, pick the game up. Even for a guy like me, at least it went out on its best possible note. One last time, Nathan. At least this time, we actually had fun. And that was worth the trip. Find peace in your own nirvana.